Have you ever wondered how a small, seemingly insignificant group could triumph over a force 3 times its size, equipped with the best weapons of its time? This isn't a plot from a fantasy novel. It's a true story of faith, strategy, divine intervention that unfolded over 1,400 years ago in the desert plains of Arabia. This is the story of the Battle of Badr, a pivotal moment in Islamic history that demonstrates how unwavering belief in unity can overcome the most daunting odds. Picture this. It's the year 624 CE. The early Muslim community, led by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had recently migrated from Mecca to Medina to escape persecution. They were a small, fledgling community, struggling to establish themselves. In Mecca, they had left behind their homes, their wealth, and their families. Their persecutors, the powerful Quraysh tribe of Mecca, were not content with just driving them out. They saw this new community in Medina as a direct threat to their economic power and their traditional way of life. The tension was palpable. Quraysh controlled the lucrative trade routes that passed near Medina, and they used this control to continue pressuring the Muslims. A massive caravan, loaded with wealth and goods belonging to the Quraysh, was returning from Syria under the command of one of their most cunning leaders, Abu Sufyan. This caravan represented the very wealth that had been unjustly taken from the Muslims when they were forced out of Mecca. The Prophet Muhammad decided to intercept this caravan, not as an act of aggression, but as a way to reclaim what was rightfully theirs and to disrupt the economic lifeline of their oppressors. He gathered a small force of just over 300 men. These weren't seasoned soldiers. They were ordinary people merchants, farmers, and craftsmen. Many were young, and their resources were incredibly scarce. They had only 2 horses and 70 camels among them, meaning most would have to walk the long, arduous journey to the wells of Badr, where the caravan was expected to pass. They took turns riding the camels, a testament to their brotherhood and shared sacrifice. But Abu Sufyan was clever. He got wind of the Muslims' plan and immediately sent a messenger racing back to Mecca, calling for reinforcements. He also cleverly rerouted his caravan, taking a different path along the coast to avoid the Muslims. His message, however, caused panic and outrage in Mecca. The Quraysh, fueled by pride and a desire to crush the Muslims once and for all, quickly assembled a formidable army. We're talking about a force of nearly 1,000 warriors decked out in armor, with hundreds of horses and a massive supply train. They were a professional fighting force, confident and eager for a decisive battle. Meanwhile, the small Muslim army reached Badr, only to find the caravan was gone. In its place, marching towards them, was the mighty army of the Quraysh. The situation had changed dramatically. This was no longer about a caravan. It was about survival. The Muslims were now faced with a choice: retreat back to Medina or stand and fight an army that outnumbered them 3-1 and was far better equipped. This is where the true test of faith began. The Prophet Muhammad gathered his companions and asked for their counsel. He needed to know if they were with him, if their resolve was strong enough for what lay ahead. One by one, his companions stood up and pledged their unwavering support. One of them famously said, "O messenger of God, go where you wish. We are with you. By God, if you were to lead us into the sea, we would follow you, and not a single one of us would stay behind." This wasn't just blind obedience. It was a profound expression of trust and unity. They were ready to face death for their beliefs. With their spirits high, the Prophet Muhammad began to devise a brilliant strategy. He displayed a level of military genius that was far ahead of his time. Knowing the terrain, he led his small army to secure the wells of Badr first. This was a critical move. It meant the Muslims had control over the water supply, a priceless resource in the scorching desert. They could quench their thirst, while the enemy army would grow weary and dehydrated under the hot sun. He then had his men block the other wells, further weakening the Quraysh. The night before the battle was a study in contrasts. The Quraysh army, confident of their victory, spent the night feasting and celebrating. The Muslims, on the other hand, spent the night in prayer. The Prophet Muhammad himself prayed with incredible intensity throughout the entire night, his face wet with tears, beseeching God for the help he had promised. He knew that their faith was their greatest weapon, and he turned to the ultimate source of strength. This deep spiritual preparation calmed the hearts of the believers. A light rain fell that night, which was seen as a blessing. It firmed up the sandy ground where the Muslims were positioned, making it easier for them to stand firm, while making the ground on the Quraysh's side muddy and difficult to maneuver. When the morning of the battle arrived, the two armies stood facing each other. The sheer difference in numbers and equipment was intimidating. The Quraysh, in their shining armor, looked invincible. The Muslims, with their simple weapons and patched-up gear, looked like they stood no chance. But they had something the Quraysh didn't: a unified purpose and an unshakable faith. The battle began in the traditional Arab way with duels between champions. 3 of the Quraysh's fiercest warriors stepped forward, challenging the Muslims. 3 of the Prophet's family members, including his beloved Uncle Hamza, stepped up to meet them. In a stunning display of skill and courage, the Muslim champions defeated their opponents, delivering a huge psychological blow to the Quraysh army right at the start. Then, the full-scale battle erupted. The Quraysh charged, expecting to sweep through the small Muslim line. But the Muslims held their ground with disciplined resolve, fighting as a single, solid unit. They followed the Prophet's instructions perfectly, holding their formation and not breaking rank. And then, something miraculous happened. According to Islamic tradition, as the battle raged, the Prophet Muhammad took a handful of dust, threw it towards the enemy, and said, "May their faces be shummed." It is said that a sudden gust of wind carried the dust into the eyes and faces of the Quraysh soldiers, causing confusion and chaos in their ranks. More than that, the Muslims felt a surge of strength and courage. They reported seeing figures in white fighting alongside them, striking down their enemies. The Quran speaks of this moment, stating that God sent down 1,000 angels to assist the believers. These angels, sent as a sign of God's support, bolstered the Muslims' morale and terrified their enemies. The Quraysh soldiers, who were fighting for pride, wealth, and tribal honor, began to lose their will to fight. They saw their leaders and champions falling one by one. The sight of the determined, unified Muslims, seemingly aided by an unseen force, broke their spirit. The great army of the Quraysh began to crumble. They broke ranks and fled in disarray. What was supposed to be an easy victory for them turned into a humiliating defeat. Many of their key leaders, the very individuals who had been the most ruthless in their persecution of the Muslims, were killed on the battlefield. The Muslims, by the grace of God, had achieved a victory that seemed impossible by any human measure. The victory at Badr was more than just a military triumph. It was a turning point. It solidified the Muslim community in Medina and established them as a force to be reckoned with. It was proof that victory comes not from numbers or weapons, but from God. It demonstrated the power of faith, unity, and strategic thinking. The small, persecuted group had faced their oppressors and, against all odds, had emerged victorious. The lessons from the Battle of Badr are timeless. It teaches us that with sincere faith and a just cause, no obstacle is too great. It shows the importance of unity and brotherhood. The Muslims shared their food, their water, and their rides, and they stood shoulder to shoulder in the face of a terrifying enemy. It highlights the importance of wise leadership and smart strategy. The Prophet's decision to control the water source and the disciplined formation of his troops were key tactical advantages. Most importantly, the story of Badr is a powerful reminder that when you put your complete trust in a higher power and strive with all your heart for what is right, you are never truly alone. Divine help can come in ways we can't even imagine, turning impossible situations into decisive victories. This event, which took place centuries ago in a remote desert, continues to inspire millions around the world today, serving as a powerful testament to the idea that faith is the ultimate source of strength. Thank you for watching. If this story of courage and faith inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content that delves into the pivotal moments of history. Let us know in the comments what you found most inspiring about the Battle of Badr. See you in the next video.